this month's edition of Shutter Mag, we are going to go over how to do a design. So I'm using Fundy Designer, but it doesn't matter what you use. This just happens to be what I use. What I'm going to teach you are basically my thought process as I go through an album design. So I've got 99 images that I've pre-selected here based on the things I want to highlight in this wedding. I'm going to go ahead and design a 50-page album, which is an average design that we have. Fundy has an auto design thing where you just kind of let it lay out by itself. So we'll start there. All right, I like to start off with a detail spread. So I'm just going to drag the ring picture over here. And then the next page, we can do a combo of the bride and groom and their details if you want to, or keep it separate. I'm going to do it together because this bride and groom, this goes to prove some of the things that I say in my article this month about knowing your clients. They actually wear the same size shoe and they find that funny. So I know that they'll love the fact that I've got their two shoes here together and showing that they're the same size. Little fun things like that, right? As I go through, I'm going to make sure just that things are on the correct page, like any of the getting ready pictures that are here. You know, some of these pictures I think I'll actually delete because when I look at them in the album, you can notice if, you know what, these don't quite fit or these don't match or they're just not fitting in the flow. Sometimes you have pictures that are here that don't fit in the flow, honestly, like this one, and it's sort of by itself, but you know what, I know they're going to want that picture, so I'm just going to go ahead and make that work anyway. So when you're designing, make sure that you do not have any faces going through the middle seam here. I personally don't mind pictures going through the seam, but just not faces. All right, so I think right there is good. You can have asymmetrical ones like this. That's not a problem for me. Sometimes it is for my clients though, so just, you know, you can be prepared for that. Maybe they won't like that. But overall, when you're designing albums, you're going to be much more picky about this than your client will ever be, because you see the difference, you know, right away just by looking. You're like, no, I don't want this, or I do want that, or you see if something's off. But don't go too crazy. You'll also notice that everything is in color. Now, that's fine. I don't mind turning things into black and white. I think I'm actually going to turn this whole page into black and white. That's pretty easily done. It's just a personal preference. I will say one of my rules, though, you do not put black and white and color on the same page. That is a no-no, all right? We want to create a consistency in the actual pages themselves, so no combining black and white and color. So I've got all the important parts here. I'm gonna let the bride have her own page by herself over here, so I'm gonna move all the getting ready ones this way. This is a little repetitive, so let's just take that out, maybe pick a different layout. That one looks good. Now here, this I talked about in the article. See how I have the bouncing the eyes effect happening here. So the main picture here is towards the right. Now the main picture's on the left. Now this main picture is on the right. We're moving it around and bouncing it so that it makes sense. This layout, again, knowing your clients. I know my bride is going to keep this. You know, her with her father, very important for the two of them. They're very close, so I'm going to make sure that I have a little page dedicated to their first look together. Super cute. All right, now the couple did have a first look, so we can keep those photos in, or, you know, I know first look is a thing, but sometimes my clients don't actually put the first look photos in there. So that is at the discretion of your clients. These are actually based on the photos that my clients used in their album. So it looks like they really didn't have the first look picture in there other than that one I deleted, which didn't flow in my opinion. All right, there's too many here as well, so I'm going to go ahead and delete some of these that I feel are repetitive, or honestly just ones that I don't particularly like. I don't love this pose that I had them in, and I certainly don't need the repetitiveness of all of these. So let's go ahead and do this. Good. All right, usually 2 to 3 spreads of the bride and groom is good, and I do know that I have kind of a more epic one later, so I don't have to worry about that. I do like keeping things chronologically unless it looks funky. So weird timeline, we did the bride and groom and their family at the church, but before the ceremony. So kind of looks weird if I put it there, so I am going to stick that after the ceremony so we stay in chronological order. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put all of the bridesmaids pictures on one page. Get rid of that. And I may have chosen too many detailed pictures. Let's see what other layouts. Oh, no. Silly me. We don't ever choose too many detailed pictures, right? We got the guys here. You know, honestly, that looks good. Bride walking down. Ceremony, bride leaving. Now, I usually separate that into 3 different things, but I'm okay with it being just 2 as far as the ceremony goes. We've got the family photos here. Always do your cropping. Make sure that it looks good in the album. Sometimes, especially for family photos, I tend to use a wider crop because they put them, you know, they want to print a classic 16 by 20, right, and make it square. So got to account for that stuff. All right, here we go. Where I was talking about, I knew I had more bride and groom photos here, and I do. So I'm going to go ahead and move these to their own page. Oh my gosh, there's so many of these I would want on their own page. This is when it becomes a problem, right? You want all these on their own page as a photographer, right? What should we do with this one? Hard decisions, hard decisions. All right, I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna throw all of my reception details onto one page because we don't need 2. This needs to be a page by itself, right? Let's put this, let's keep that there. Let's put this here. The problem is this extra one here. They love that one. So this bothers me. All right, I've got 2 warm tone pictures, but then I've got this one here. You know what? This would be a nice instance to turn everything into black and white because they're gonna like it just as much. And now this all matches for me. Cool. All right, now I feel better. My OCD is appeased. All right, same thing with your detail photos. I love, obviously, this little detail, and maybe they'll want it in there, but it doesn't quite match. I also don't need as many cake pictures. So let's just go with these. You know, a lot of you think, when you think pre-design, you think, oh, I'm gonna put as many pictures as I possibly can because that's how I'll sell more albums. But you don't necessarily want to do that. You want to make sure that you're not overwhelming them, and you want to make sure that you're telling the story. The story is more important than whatever it is that you are selling. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to overwhelm them either, right? We don't want to overwhelm them with too many of these choices and too many of things that, you know, they would potentially delete because then they just get mad, right? Who wants to feel like, you know, they're being taken advantage of? All right, we've got the first dance, we've got the parents' dances, really sweet moments. Now, when I design the parent dances, I want to give equal real estate to both the father-daughter and the mother-son dance. So I'm gonna just kind of do it evenly here and also chronologically like that. So in my opinion, not the most flattering of designs, but that's okay. All right, we've got all of our toasts here on one page. Perfect. There's my nighttime shot that I use as the last one right there. Got the cake cutting. We'll switch those because that's the order it went. And now we're done. I don't know how many minutes that was, but I've got a 52-page design here that looks pretty good. It flows nicely. There's no identical layouts right in a row. I've included all the important things. I've got some full spreads. I bounced the eyes. Ooh, here I didn't bounce the eyes, so let's go ahead and flip that one. All right, there we go. Now I bounced the eyes there, moved it around, and now we're good. Perfect. Now I just have to export it. So that is my thought process when actually sitting down and designing an album. I hope that's been helpful, and I will see you next month.